tell you, I've always been a mechanic my entire life. I just had a natural knack for it, and even though I wasn't as skilled as most people at an early age, I still had a natural knack on figuring things out and working my way through it, and just understanding the process of how all this stuff works, kind of like an engineering mind. So I was in the military. After the military, got out, started doing some of this stuff, went to school, had a bunch of hiccups on the way, so we're going to talk about that too. Did some time in prison, stuff of that nature. But the biggest thing is I paid attention to what other people were doing around me. I always pay attention to my surroundings and how I can learn from other people. One of the biggest sayings out there is "fake it till you make it," and I did a lot of that. As I would continue to learn and understand more, of this industry, working at different places, and just following what other people would do, their procedures, and how to diagnose and stuff of that nature. And not to mention, I went to school for a lot of this stuff too, but I just paid attention to what other people were doing. So, and not just individuals themselves working on trucks, but the actual companies I was working for. Hey, so like I said, watching other people, learning from them, and not just the individuals themselves. I learned from the actual companies I worked for. So how they operated, how they went about getting business. I was much more interested in that as I was the mechanical part, because the ultimate goal is, and I think that's with everybody, is, to make more money, and you can only get to a certain area as a mechanic and make a certain amount of money, you know what I mean? And I had a drive in me to make more and make more. I just felt like I had more potential to produce more. So I started looking at the business aspect of it and learning that. So that way, at that time, I just wanted to go into management, so I was learning how all that stuff worked. And then, once after learning all this stuff, I just had this opportunity that it didn't really present itself at the time, but in my head, it was already presented. Like, hey, I started working for a company that did fleet maintenance, and we did a lot of stuff mobilely out of truck, so I was like, I didn't come up with the idea on my own. I just thought, hey, I can do this too, so I started talking to some of the people
take exit 31
I was already
working
for, and I was like, hey, I want to do this for myself, and one of the things that I've always maintained is I'm going to do good work the first time, because I don't want to come out there and do it again. So a lot of the people that I was working for saw this. Whenever I tell them something was wrong with it, I diagnosed it correctly, I fixed it right the first time, I don't have to come back. So I took an opportunity to jump in with a guy, and he gave me my first opportunity to get on, and I started working solely for him, and I was making peanuts at that time, man. I barely, I struggled every day. So it wasn't, a lot of people, they think when they're going to go in business for themselves that the business is going to come to you, and in the beginning that's absolutely not true. All right, you have to build it before they come, so that saying in itself right there is so true. Just because you put up a shop and stuff of that nature, ain't nothing going to happen. Advertising and all this extra stuff, and it's more than just advertising in the sense of putting up a billboard or putting an ad out or something like that. You literally got to go door to door with these businesses.
Onto I-65 toward Huntsville.
That's something that I learned right away, is that, hey, I got to go door to door. I'd knock on all these doors. I'd go to different companies. Who does your maintenance? Who does this? Who does that? I want to talk to the man in charge, etc., etc.
And
I kept pushing,
to merge onto I-65 south
that whole thing, and just working out of a truck, and it was paying off. Now, I will tell you, I was told no
I-65 south toward
more
Huntsville.
than I was ever told yes. And that's something that discourages a lot of people. You know, on average, if I asked 100 people, you know, to work on their equipment, I probably got 99 no's and I got one yes. You know, in the beginning it was that way, you know, and it was hard. It was a struggle every single day to do this, you know, but over time, as of right now, in my current state, I've built 3 businesses so far. I've sold 2 of them, doing exactly what I'm doing. I've worked out through no competes for different companies after I've sold businesses, and you know, I'm currently working for myself again. And as of right now, I haven't advertised anything. I'm all word of mouth, and one of the biggest reasons is because I've been doing this in this area for so long. I specialize in refrigeration, transport refrigeration work, and I'm a contractor for a bunch of different companies, and a lot of that stuff goes word of mouth. The job that we're headed to right now is word of mouth from another shop, and you know, the guy called me is a guy that I went business with and sold a business to, and worked through a no compete, got out and went back on my own, and me and him still have a positive relationship with each other. And he owns a reefer company where he, you know, has trailers, so he owns a transport business as well, and I still do a lot of reefer business for him,
4 miles,
you know, because I've built that reputation on doing good work and, you know, being able to fix it. There's not a lot of people out here in this field that can do that kind of stuff. So this job actually came from him. Somebody called him and was like, hey, need a reefer unit fixed, and he said, I know the guy to call. And this guy owns like 10 shops, you know. He's got a ton of technicians, but on this area expertise, he just thought it'd be better to send it my way to get it fixed right the first time. So there's a lot that goes into it, and my job's not easy, man. You know, now a lot of people on the outside looking in, they're like, oh man, you make incredible money, you do this, you do that, you're able to build cool race cars and have crazy things and yada yada yada, but they don't see the effort that goes into this. You know, I work, my phone never comes off, it's ringing all day long, weekends, the whole 9 yards. I have to take calls if something on these reefer units, if something happens and they got a load on it, you got to go work on it right away, because if the load spoils, there ain't no point in fixing anything, you know. So they don't see the late nights, they don't see the 12 to 15 hour days and stuff of that nature, but you know, I make it happen. One of the biggest thing is a lot of people that know me personally, they're like, man, you know, I try and be an inspiration for others in a lot of ways, because a lot of people know I've been to prison before, and you know, then they see what I'm doing now. So a lot of people like to say I'm a success story, but I don't really look at it that way. You know, everybody is in control of their own environment and what they got going on around them.
Take exit
So
53 onto
anybody can do this. You know, I mean, you just got to find out what you're good at. You know, not necessarily working on trucks and stuff of that nature in the area of expertise that I'm in, but you need to find out what you're good at, what your greatest qualities are in work, all right, and then capitalize on them and not be afraid to do it. You know, do research. That's one of the things from the beginning that I told you, is I'm always watching other people and what they're doing and how they're doing it, and I try and understand exactly how everything works and what the possibilities are. You got to make mistakes. I've made tons of them, you know. So anybody's got this in them. They can do this. You know, they can go out in business for themselves. They can become management in different companies. They can do all these things that they set their mind to. They just have to apply the effort, you know. And I preach that a lot. You know, there's no trick to doing what I'm doing. You know, there's none of that, you know. It's just the effort that's applied is what's going to get you there. See you guys in the next video. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Any questions that you have, just put them in the comment section, and I will get back to you. It might take me a day or two. I'm pretty busy, but just leave me a comment. Any questions, the whole 9 yards. If I can help guide you on your way, that's one more person to success. So I'm willing to help you out. Make sure you drop something for me. We'll see you in the next video.